Hello. Hello. I brought the intro back just for you. Just for you, Andrew. Just for you. All right, so hey, how you doing? And yes, this is interesting. So a little bit of lore about what we're about to watch here. So I've watched this series of videos because my wife has been into this drama for a little while, and she got me into it, and now I'm kind of like caught up on it. There's a lot of fat locals on the internet, and we're about to watch one who thinks that she's an empath, um, but it clearly isn't. Thanks, been missing these intros. Yeah, I'd like to incorporate more intro stuff because as kind of a side rant, I'd really like to make this sort of a hybrid of sort of like FNT meets EFAP in a way. You know, have some of the production value of FNT where they have like the intro, the memes, and the outro, but have the EFAP thing too, where it's just us talking, and reacting to videos and stuff. So I'm still kind of working out the kinks on it, but anyway. So yeah, we're gonna be getting into the Victims of an Empath series. So it's titled "Victims of an Empath," an Amberlyn Reed series. There are 5 videos in this series thus far. I think it's over. I don't think. And this is by Mr. Snowflake, by the way. So yeah, I don't think he plans to do any more of these. So I think this series is over, but it progressively gets worse and worse and worse as it sort of goes. Cobracast intros are peak, trying to guess which one he'll use. Yes, there's a lot of good intros amongst like the. I don't even know what you even call this community. I don't know. I guess it's a series of communities. I guess maybe the fellowship, maybe. I don't know, but either way, there's a lot of good intros out there on different streams. But yeah. So trying to think if there's anything else I need to mention before we get into this. Yeah. So as far as I know, this series is 5 episodes long. They range from about an hour and a half to up to 4 hours. So this is going to take a while to get through. But this is also going to be a thing where these sort of act like documentaries of things going on. They're not quite the same as some of the other content we've watched before. Um, but this should be interesting to say the least. This is our first getting into lolcow stuff. Well, this isn't really our first thing into lolcow stuff. We did the boogie thing way back when, but this is going to be an interesting lolcow situation where this person has a long history of doing naughty things to people, which we'll get into. And so this is sort of broken up into 4 sections. The first, it's basically sectioned off by the partners that Amberlyn Reed was with. So this first one, the first 2 videos are about Casey. The first video is about Casey, like a proper sort of documentary thing. The second one's an interview with Casey. The third video is about a different partner. Fourth video is about a different partner. Fifth video is about a different partner, because they all represent sort of different eras in this sort of dramatic arc of this person. But we shall see how it goes. But yeah, the anime Trump one is your favorite of his. Yeah, the Trump memes are amazing. There's so much talent across the internet that really shines when you make a perfect meme that pisses off just the right people. It's great. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. And I don't know how long we're gonna have to watch this. I don't know if we'll finish it or not. Um, a couple of little things too. Unless we're playing a video game, I'm gonna try to keep these streams a little on the shorter side. I can only go for about 2.5 hours, but past this point. So we'll see where we go as we get there. But for now, let's get into Victims of an Empath and Amberlyn Reed series, episode 1, Casey. And let me know if it's too loud or not.
My fiance told me that she's calling me an abuser and a racist.
So not only was I being physically abused, but I was pretty much being like RAPE, rain and petals, eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. Rain and petals, eavesdrop. I used the wrong word.
That got my blood
Rain
boiling.
And petals, eavesdrop. I used the wrong
Because that's not true.
Starting off things kind of heavy with allegations. So there's the one thing. I really like Mr. Snowflake's production value on these videos, but it is one of those things that you can kind of see how, as it goes on, the production value gets a little bit better, but there's also more jokes thrown in as Amberlynn Reed becomes more of a joke as it goes on. But here we go. Also, let me know if it's too loud or not. Like a comparison to me talking over it.
Hi Amber, Mr. Snowflake here, #1 baby on the internet.
Shaped by the algorithm, y'all. Someone recently told me about that, and I had to look it up. I was like, what is that?
So, I don't know, hopefully you see this and hopefully you see the little clip of you from 5 years ago.
I watched the first episode, and I had a few tears, I'm not gonna lie.
Talking about how you don't want to die early. Because there's quite a few people worried about you. I get lots of comments and discuss with people. Yeah, there are a lot of people concerned. You are getting older. I'm getting older. I'm starting to get grey hairs in my beard now.
Me too, man.
Might have to watch the next one.
Hopefully it gives you a little push to lose some weight. I am known as Mr. Snowflake online, and I make...
She's more like a cow than a lol cow. Holy fuck, man. Yeah, I mean, this without giving anything away, in case you don't know, this is Amberlynn Reed's sort of like a smaller, like a small scale version of Boogie. In every sense but her weight. I think she's consistently been fatter than Boogie most of her life. So we'll get there. But we'll get to some good bits. We'll get to some good bits as we go. So just hold on as we watch this.
Documentaries about interesting people. It was actually through a friend of mine how I discovered Amberlynn Reed.
You gotta fight for your right to Amber, yeah.
Yeah, so he was a bit stuck for who to do next. And so I came up with a list of different lol cows. I think Boogie was on there, Chris Chan, and Amber was right at the bottom. And then he picked Amber, and I was shocked because I thought she was boring.
I think she'll be watching this. Hi, Amber! Oh, sorry, we haven't even mentioned the t-shirts. We've gone full Am Baby. These are professional t-shirts.
Was mine see-through?
See-through.
I'm just wondering if you could see me next.
What were my first impressions of Amber? I remember liking her. I liked her at first. I think I made a few videos showing some support for her. I did a couple of community posts where I was rooting for her. I was on her side. And I really, really meant all the videos and the posts, because Amber was talking about how she was going to die. She was carrying too much weight. She was so unhealthy, and it did. It looked like she was close to death. She looked like that for a while now. But I genuinely supported her at the beginning, and even Jimmy did. Jimmy really meant the support.
Yeah, so in the start, I really enjoyed the fact that he'd started covering Amber, because I'm a big fan of BBWs, which is big, beautiful women.
I was going to say though, should we wear the amber shirts to the gym?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What if people look?
Well, I'll just go back off here.
Yeah, go on. Should we wear these to the gym?
Yes.
Right, Amber, we're going to go to the gym for you. We're going to do Amber reps. Actually, tell you what, we're going to try really hard at the gym for you, Amber. Hopefully that inspires Amber.
I think you're meant to say Amber, aren't you?
I remember the exact moment I stopped supporting her, and it was during a live stream. Right, I'll do a Hulk Hogan. I know I ripped up the Am Baby shirt I had. I ripped it trying to be funny and trying to make the viewers laugh. But that is, I remember it. That is when I genuinely thought, I'm done with her, because people have warned me for a long time what she was like.
You see, this is one thing that you'll notice throughout this is Mr. Snowflake tries to be very empathetic, which is kind of on point given the title of this series. And it's a thing where, like, every time I go into a video, I try to remain neutral but give people, like, benefit of the doubt sort of a thing. And going through these Amber videos, I watched Shaped by the Algorithm first. And at the beginning, I was kind of like, oh, this person seems like, you know, just generic, sort of like morbidly obese person that wants to lose the weight. And then over time, the sympathy towards that dried up pretty quick. And then it just started to get into a thing of like, oh, she's one of those 600-pound people. It's like she's one of those people. Which you'll understand more as we get into this. I can't really talk about this without mentioning stuff that happens later on or around this video, but we'll see this when we get there.
And I thought, no, we're going to see the good in her. But when they told me, watch how she treats her girlfriends, I watched, and yeah. I know during that live stream we were watching how she was treating Becky, but people had already warned me how she treated her first partner, Casey.
Are y'all Native American? I'm black, white, Filipino, and Mexican. My mom is. Do you have any Native American? Because my mom right here, she's the one who adopted me when I was a baby.
Casey, known before his transition as Cassidy, was raised in Arizona by his adoptive mother, Nadine Cordero. Growing up, Casey struggled in school and was often bullied.
This is one thing too. The storytelling is going to get weird because of the whole like transition thing. So just keep that in mind. Was a woman when dating Amberlynn Reed. I mean, ostensibly still is. I'm not going to get in the whole trans thing here. I'm not going to rant about it, but you know, not going to get into that. Not going to get into that.
You know, I did a lot of dumb stuff in school. I wasn't really great in school. I was picked on, and, you know, I made poor choices. The world won't care about your struggles. I hate to say it, but it's true. The world doesn't care about your struggles. They don't care where you came from or where you're going. But you know what? You can care for you. Make your life worth living for you, if not for anyone else. Make your life the best you can for you.
Casey would seek refuge from his struggles through the use of online chat rooms. It was there where he would meet Amberlynn Reed. Casey and Amber, having shared experiences with bullying and foster care, instantly connected. Casey, who was just 15 years old at the time, entered an online relationship with Amber, who was almost 2 years his senior.
My first true relationship was with a girl named Cassidy. We met online.
Oh, we were together from 2008 to 2011. So it's almost 4 years, three and a half years. I met her online at 15. I met her in person at 16.
While we were an online relationship, a long distance relationship, I would send her pictures of my face. I made her understand that I was a bigger girl. I told her my weight, and she really, really accepted that.
After about a year of being in this online relationship, the pair would finally get to meet in person.
When I first met her in person, it was in California. Because me and my mom went to California to visit my nana, and she lived in California, so she came and visited for a little bit. Which was cool. We had a good time, you know? It was some good time.
She told me that the first time she ever met me in person, she did not find me attractive whatsoever. I was freaking so shocked, so hurt, and so surprised. She was purely setting me down, and she was being honest that when we met in person, I wasn't attractive to her at all.
Okay, when it comes to physical attraction, let me tell you guys this. I look for some. At one point, her personality was, I fell for her personality. I don't fall for someone's looks. I don't fall for the, keep up with hygienes, whatever. But I don't fall for someone's looks. I fall for their heart. I fall for their soul. I fall for their personality.
It completely lowered my self-esteem a great deal.
Is the one thing is it's sort of a thing that's sort of as I've gotten older, I've realized how many warning signs there are out there about people that might have issues. And it's one of those things where, like, nowadays, you see people with piercings in weird spots, right? I'm of the belief, like, a nose ring is already like, I have a question mark. Having the nose ring and the two, like, lip studs are like, okay, you just want attention. Okay, like, it's like when you get tattoos on your face. It's like you are just asking for attention by doing something that makes you look weird. And this is the one thing too, right? I'm an anti-piercings guy in general, so don't think I'm just picking on people that have stuff on their face. But in terms of, like, warning signs, there's a lot of consistencies between people that are generally not going to be good for you to be around. And a lot of facial piercings are the types of things that pop up a lot. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me being a grumpy old man.
And I was never the same since then. Don't get me wrong, as time went on and we lived together, like, obviously she started finding me attractive because she started to get to know my personality. It still really scarred me.
Despite the lack of physical attraction coming from Casey, the pair would still carry on their relationship.
After meeting her for the first time in July in California, she was going to come down for a month because I was going to take her to an anime convention. Stay a month, whatever. She was supposed to go back.
I was there for like 2 weeks, and I called my mom and I was like, oh my god, I miss you so much, because I was living with her and my grandma at the time. And on the phone she told me, your grandma said you can't come back to Oklahoma, you can't come live with us. And I was like, what? Like, where do I go?
Her grandmother said she couldn't come back.
Yeah, well, I've always wondered why her grandma never wanted her back. Did we ever find out?
Cassidy's mom was pissed.
I mean, this is one thing too, right? Is having seen the whole series beforehand, this is one of those things where if you know, you know. But you'll notice a pattern throughout these videos of Amber not being a particularly good, productive, helpful roommate, shall we say. Which I'm trying to keep things cryptic because I don't want to spoil things that come up later on, but it'll be, let's just say she's not a good roommate, and we'll just leave it at that for now.
Because I think she knew right then and there she's gonna have to take on, like, me. I think it was like 450 square feet.
Yeah, can you imagine, right? Like your daughter's girlfriend comes over to hang out. She's like, she could eat both of you. And then suddenly, like, the girlfriend's mom, your daughter's girlfriend's mom or grandma says, hey, she can't come back. She's stuck. And you're like, fuck, I have to feed the whale now. Like, that doubles our grocery budget right there. It's like, damn, can you imagine the sort of, like, just what the fuck is going on in, Casey's mom's, like, head at this time? It's just like, whoa.
There were like no doors. Cassidy and I ended up having to use the living room as our bedroom.
I was 16 at the time. My mom was mad. We didn't have a lot of money. When she's talking about her small apartment, we didn't have a lot of money. We were poor. It didn't have a bedroom door. It was like a studio with like a wall, like breaking off the living room and bedroom. So she had a 16-year-old to raise. Plus, she was just getting into my mom was just getting into a new relationship, and then all of a sudden there's someone else that's there that she needs to make sure to feed. Yeah, it made her mad. But I fought for Amber to be there because she didn't have nowhere to go.
I didn't have a job. I didn't have anywhere to go. I had no car. I had nothing. And I just got done being in a foster care. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, because being in foster care, like, you're very, like, taken care of in a sense, you know?
But, you know, it was whatever. I fought for her to stay. I didn't want her to be homeless. It was, you know, I felt that was the right thing to do.
I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna live with my girlfriend. Like, we're so in love. It's like, so.
I mean, this is one thing that I think is sort of... One thing you'll notice about a lot of the people that sort of, like, are involved around Amberlynn Reed's story is that there's a lot of really generous people that she has interacted with, and through her interactions you'll notice how bad of a person she really is, because I don't think we get into it in this video in particular, but the next relationship she's in, it's a situation where early on you can see how shitty of a person Amberlynn Reed is when people give her so many chances and so much support. It's going to be one of those things where, as this goes on, if you don't know her already, you'll become increasingly infuriated with her as time goes on. So it's going to be this is a weird ride. It's going to be a weird ride.
Amazing. And
I don't want to say I regretted it, but the things that happened afterwards, I kind of regretted our whole entire relationship. And I hate to say it, but I do regret our whole entire relationship. I do.
Now, Nadine, at this point, was already struggling to make ends meet, and now she had to look after her child's adult girlfriend. So now you've got Nadine, Casey, Amber, and Nadine's boyfriend Dave all living in this tiny studio apartment.
Did you like Amber at first?
Yeah. Like her?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was good. She was nice. No bad for her.
Brooke said.
Yeah, she was nice.
Was she verbally abused?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she tough when she...
Amber always seemed to be making these disrespectful Facebook posts about Dave and Nadine, talking about how unhappy she was and how much she disliked them.
And there we go. People that took you in, and you're bitching about them. You're bitching about them. You know, and this sort of a thing is sort of the beginning of the inklings that, or not the inklings, but it's like the beginning of the, Amber's kind of a white trash type of person when you kind of get down to it. And we'll see that more as it sort of goes on.
Amber would go on to make videos about her time in Arizona, where she would be extremely soft-spoken and talking about how she was a victim of abuse while living there.
she hated me. So did her boyfriend. Several times he threatened to kill me.
I like how she couldn't even type LeMayo. Lamo, laugh ass my off. Yeah, it's just funny thinking of, all this stuff about cruelty and stuff like that. And then you see things later on and you start wondering, who was actually the asshole in the situation here. Because she's got a big asshole.
I was abused there a lot, in several different ways.
Bitch Cake said she.
Yep. Ooh, man. And this is one of those things, I forget if the details go over, if the details in this sort of documentary go through, like, exactly what's going on in terms of, like, what the situation was at the time, in terms of, like, the working situation of who was bringing resources into the household, sort of a thing. But I think we do go over it, but I can't remember the details off the top of my head. I just kind of remember the main sort of points. She'd lose about 10 stones if she laughed her ass off. Yeah, that's true, yeah. If she laughed her ass off, oh man, that would be something. I actually, on a side note, I actually think I heard something where like laughing burns about as much, like laughing burns like 10 times as many calories per second as like being angry and complaining does, something like that. It's probably not true, but just the idea of people being happy leading to less weight, I think is kind of a funny thing, because you always see like, you know, the bigger you are, the more depressed people seem to become, right? And it kind of makes sense. Like there's a threshold there where you go over from you're fat to you got serious problems now. But I think if she did laugh her ass off, she would lose like significant amount of weight. I don't think it's mentioned it yet, but I think at this point she was in the 300s, I believe. Like 300 pounds, which I don't know what that computes over to stones or whatever, but that's big girl.
She said she wasn't allowed to sit on the couch at your house. But my mom never told her she wasn't allowed. My mom never said that. Yeah. It was Dave. So, did she ever break any of your furniture, said Zach.
Yeah.
I'm scared that I'm gonna break a chair one day. I've never broken furniture in my life. I have never broken a furniture before.
Broken a furniture. This is one thing that I've picked on her a lot throughout the videos I've watched of her with my wife, is just she cannot spoken English, you know? she's got that sort of energy of, she has this thing where she'll hyper focus on particular words that she finds and she'll overuse them to death, and it's very clear that she's compensating for being kind of an idiot. Right? It's like when you learn a new word and it's just it's just not gonna like work like in the sentence she's using, but she thinks it's such a cool word, and so she uses it a lot. Plus she makes up her own dumb words. We'll get there. There's so much lore here that just went by me until my wife showed it to me, and I was like, oh man, there's so much shit to watch. And by shit, I mean that. There's so much shit to watch. Like, holy fuck. Because, I mean, she's been on YouTube, I think, since, like, 2008 or 9. And posting regularly. So it's been a weird experience, her documenting her life and just completely forgetting all the shit she's lied about. But it is funny how... let's go back to this little point about Casey's mom asking, saying that she did break furniture.
My mom never said that. Yeah. It was Dave. So, did she ever break any of your furniture, said Zach.
Yeah.
I'm scared that I'm gonna break a chair one day. I've never broken furniture in my life. I have never broken a furniture before. A little backstory, I've only broken a couple things in my life. Like, I got this really cheap chair at Walmart one time, and I used it a lot, and I ended up breaking it.
Why did they hate each other?
It's just like, yeah. I mean, this is one thing too, right? Like, I don't know what chair at Walmart she got, right? But like, I remember getting a Walmart chair, just like a regular one that's like a fold-out chair. It's got like a little cushion on it, and that's it, right? It's like the super cheap one. That thing's weight only goes up to like 200 pounds, I think. And I broke one from sitting on it for years before, for like months on end while I was like working and stuff. And it's one of those things where I gotta wonder how big of a chair did she get to break it, right? Because you know if you sit in a 200 pound maximum chair and you're 200 pounds, which I was at the time, if you have that, right, like constantly, it eventually will wear down, right? It's not going to break immediately, But with her, I feel like she could sit down on that thing and her ass would just swallow whatever the chair was. It'd be like some Cthulhu beast going and just like consuming the whole thing in her butt. Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking about this so much. Also, I like some of these things from places. I like bitch cakes over here. The internet names are very entertaining.
Each other, Dave and Amber.
They just, yeah.
They just clashed.
Like, she thought she knew everything about everything, every subject.
Yeah, I was saying.
YouTubed it, or she Googled it, or she known the fact.
Yeah, my IQ is just overwhelmed by how smart I am.
Amber, who was a legal adult, was given a choice: either go to college or get a job.
I did go to college. I was going for my associates in criminal.
Associates. I can't pause it every time, but I feel like I'm going to based on her lack of English skills. And I can understand like having a little bit of a screw up here and there, but there are some things where she consistently like mispronounces things, and at first it's funny, and then it gets annoying because she doesn't stop. But we'll get there. There's a lot of we'll get there's throughout this series as we go through it, because there is a character arc through here, man. There is a character arc through here. It's without spoilers. It's kind of like Breaking Bad. Also, without spoiling Breaking Bad, we get to see a villain develop as the series goes on. It'll be fun. Well, I say it'll be fun. It'll be fun in sort of a dark, sort of morbid way. Because as things get worse for people around her, her life also gets worse in turn, which is a kind of a funny sort of karmic, I guess would be the way to say it. Sort of karma's coming for her. It's wrapping around her like, hey, you've done some bad shit, Amberlynn.
Justice. I regret going because I was like forced to go. That's like a whole other story.
Yes, my mom said it was either work or go to school because I didn't want her home all day. Because I was a senior. I was a senior in high school. I went home all day. My mom and Dave were tired of her being home all day. My mom and Dave
Man, watch that. Just look at that lard sitting down. Just, ugh. Ugh.
wanted her out of the house because she stayed in the house, God, 24/7 on her phone.
Without Nadine, Amber would have been homeless, but Amber still thought it was acceptable to go online and complain, like this one in particular. Maybe if I didn't live with assholes, I wouldn't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to catch the bus to be at school at 9. Maybe if I didn't live with assholes, I'd get a ride.
Is she joking? Without them, she'd be living in a cardboard box.
So everybody who was living there,
You should be eating the cardboard box.
Dave, Nadine, Casey, were gracious enough to let Amber stay there and not be homeless. She was given the choice, college or work. She chose college, which didn't bring anything into the household. And Amber still felt it was perfectly acceptable to just go online and speak about them the way she did.
Amberlynn is a liar. Amberlynn made a Facebook post saying she wanted to punch your mom in the face.
Yeah,
Oh, hell no. Don't do that.
So not only was she contributing nothing financially, she would complain about them online, and to top it all off, she was incredibly lazy.
Christina said, did she even clean at any point in your house? Sometimes she do it on her own accord, but 90% of the time we had to argue with it. Did she give y'all a hard time about cleaning? Yes. Yeah. Cleaning, it was an argument. She'd avoid it. Did Amber ever cook, clean, anything productive at all? If she cooked, she never cooked dinner for everybody. She cooked if she was hungry.
No.
It was more of an argument, Mom. Like, I had to argue with her to clean.
But she was wanting to do her own dishwasher.
She said she was forced to wash everyone's clothes at your house. No, she wasn't. We asked her just to wash her clothes, or like I would go to laundromat. But she never put her clothes away. I was doing her laundry.
Yeah. Yes, we did her laundry. Rub her feet.
Massaged her. That remind me that I massaged her feet. You never seen her feet, Mom.
This would not be the only cleaning Amber would neglect to do. Even though Amber does claim to in fact shower, it is well documented that that is not the case.
Every day I was bullied.
That is such a funny line. Even though I gotta get that again. I want to get that again.
Only cleaning Amber would neglect to do. Even though Amber does claim to in fact shower, it is well documented that that is not the case.
Every day I was bullied. I was the smelly kid. I was the fat girl.
And then Mimi said, wait, she stank, didn't she?
Yeah.
I do shower every single day, so don't get this like wrong. It's just my hair and my face is not washed every single day, or you know what I'm saying. But my makeup does come off by itself within 1 to 2 days, 3 days, somewhere around that time.
The showering was hard to get her to do.
One of the reasons why Amber and Nadine didn't get along was because of Amber's poor hygiene, and that's understandable when you consider the small space they were all living in.
Did Amber shower at all? Just be honest, Mom.
Yeah, she did, but we had to argue with her, you know. She'd say, okay, I'll do it right now. Okay, I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now. And
This is one thing that pops up from time to time too, is there's she'll like Amber will say things that are sort of directly contradictory to what people can assume based on the footage that she herself records, right? And this is one thing that you can see sort of throughout the thing is Mr. Snowflake's got a channel called Under the Hood that my wife and I like to watch for a while. We still do every once in a while, but just Amber's content nowadays is just so fucking boring. But it's she does a thing where she'll find out. She watches all the reaction channels that react to her, right? It's actually kind of pathetic. You know, she spends all her time on the internet. She doesn't do shit with her life besides eat, buy stupid shit, and then just, you know, abuse people. But it's a weird thing where she is very aware of some of the criticisms of her and some of the things that people say to bug her, like to pick at her, right? It's a thing where, you know, people have constantly said for a while, and will say throughout this series, that she doesn't shower that often, and she makes videos constantly going, oh, by the way, I just got out of the shower, 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 you know. And it's that thing where if multiple people are telling us that you did not shower during these periods of time, and during different periods of time, basically from like 2008 all the way up to like 2022, I think is by the end of the last video we're going to watch, right? By the end of that point, there are consistent complaints of her not showering and stinking, right? And so you've got that weird thing where it's obvious that she is aware that people said she stinks or she stank, right? But she's compensating for it, sort of, not psychologically, but I guess socially. I don't know what the word would be, but like, she's compensating for it by slipping in little nods of just got out of the shower, guys. Just got out of the shower. Just had a shower. I had a shower this morning. Blah blah blah. You know, it's a thing where anytime a criticism is brought up, she'll find a sly little way to address it in a way where it seems like the people are wrong, and that's a common thing that will happen as we go through this. I keep saying that there's so much to deal with. There's so much to deal with when it comes to this person.
but yeah, it's not every day though. But
This unhygienic habit of Amber's would follow her for many years to come, and in one video, Amber would confess to having lied to her audience about her personal hygiene.
There was a large portion of 2019, if not the whole 2019, where I literally couldn't shower. But yeah, I would bathe in bed, and It wouldn't even be frequently.
Didn't you go on to make a video of it in the shower to prove that she showers?
Hello? Is anyone home? Oh! Amberlynn said shower with me and she meant it.
That's probably the only time that year where she showered. I don't remember when that video was, but holy shit. Also, sorry for scarring you if you didn't want to see that.
It wasn't just Dave and Nadine who...
This is a sort of a side rant, but one thing that my wife and I have sort of talked about while watching this whole thing unfold is if she lost the weight, we think she'd be like a relatively like attractive girl, right? Or I guess woman would be the better way to put it. But like if she lost the weight like most people, we think she'd actually be pretty. Because as far as like her face goes, she's not ugly because of her features being ugly. She's ugly because she's got a horrible personality and she's like, 300 to 600 pounds, depending on what era you're looking at, right? But it's one of those things where like she could have gotten her shit together and it probably would have worked out well for her, but she never gets her shit together. And just a little aside is at this point, sort of having caught up with all of her drama, it seems like she's just fiddling about until she dies, basically, because she's learned not to have her partners on the internet because of series like this, which show her being terrible to her partner and her partner's family, right? There's too much evidence of her doing stuff that's horrible and getting her in trouble, so she stopped doing it. But a lot of the content that involved her with her partners was the most engaging part of her content. Otherwise, she's really fucking boring. And it's a thing that I think gets brought up several times throughout this series, where it's just like, without her partners, like she leeches her personality off of her partners. She sort of becomes what they are. And you'll notice this as we go through different videos. But she's sort of a social parasite in that way, where she'll take the personality of her partner and sort of mold it into her own personality. And then she'll switch when she goes to a different partner. And it's very obvious that she doesn't have anything really driving her to be her own person. She's sort of a vapid narcissist, right? And I draw a lot of comparisons to Boogie based on the different stuff that we see, because there's a lot of narcissistic comparisons to make between the two of them. Although Amber never got nearly as much attention as Boogie did. But that's all for the future. There's so much to cover. We're only 20 minutes in, Tam.
Amber was unhappy with. She was also extremely unhappy with Casey. She would even go as far as uploading a video titled, "I was in an abusive relationship."
Got stuck on a phone call, so only caught parts of this. She seems a tool from what I've caught so far. She's sort of just a stereotypical like narcissist, right? She thinks she's above everybody, and she thinks the world owes her something. And she's also got like mental issues on top of those things, and an eating issue that affects her health. Right, so she's sort of like a ball of failure across the board. And again, you'll see more of that as we go.
I was raped, which has now since been deleted.
Oh,
we got
to get back to this part.
Even go as far as uploading a video titled, "I was in an abusive relationship, I was raped," which has now since been deleted.
So, I was recently talking to someone who had no idea that I was in an abusive relationship before, and they told me how girls who stay in abusive relationships are just lazy and that they like to be abused. Now, I from firsthand witnessed my dad and my mother my whole childhood. I told myself I will never be with someone who lays a hand on me. My first live-in relationship was with a girl named Cassidy. I feel very strongly about this, and I feel like it's okay for me to say her name because she's transgender now, so she's not Cassidy no longer. So I'm able to say her name because she's a once was person. Like, Cassidy is no longer here anymore, obviously. I'm not gonna say his new name because we're talking about her.
This is the whole thing of like, by saying the name Cassidy over and over and over, your entire audience knows who the fuck you're talking about. It's like, shut up. You obviously want to like throw shit at them.
Gender talk is too confusing, so we're just gonna leave it as that. So after about I want to say 6 months or so, things started, you know, kind of changing and shifting. I don't really know if I want to like go into like grave detail. We still loved each other a lot. After 6 months, we'd been together for over 2 years, and we were living together and this and that, and I noticed we started arguing a little bit more, just over stupid stuff. Like, I can tell you that right now. I still remember the first time she ever got physical. We had a laundry room in the apartment complex we were living in, and we were walking to the laundry room, and I remember back then I would do our laundry for us. I didn't really like people touching my laundry. I still really don't, but I let Destiny do it because I trust her. But I had this weird thing with like people touching my laundry. Whatever. So
Well, that's not true, because we've got evidence of Amber not doing her own laundry.
was that undies? Oh baby. Crystal always does the laundry. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't mean it like that. Crystal's the laundry machine. Sometimes I help her. You can put the kitchen towels right here, and I'll put them in the. I do help sometimes. She was upstairs folding laundry without me because laundry is her chore per se. Mine is like dishes and feeding the animals and stuff like that. So I like to do my own laundry, so I'm able to put it in the washer just fine. But Becky has to get it out of the washer for me. I can't, one, reach my arm in and bend down and grab my laundry because my stomach is in the way. I can't even do my own laundry fully by myself.
Even in recent videos, we've seen Amber struggling to do her own laundry.
So I guess I pull out this little guy here, liquid only. Okay, there's like a little, this is liquid detergent. Okay, so I guess that goes in there. Oh my God, watch me just spill everywhere. Oh, there's like a little max level. Is there a place for me to put these guys? So it's set on normal. Okay.
Imagine being a grown woman by this point. Like, I think at this clip is from her being like in her 30s, right? Imagine being at this point and not knowing how to do your laundry. Like, imagine that, like as a grown adult, not knowing how to do your laundry. Now, granted, I do think they make these machines too fucking complicated. I mean, like, you know, just like, it should be a simple thing of like, okay, warm, cold, you know, like normal wash, delicate cycle, you know, heavy cycle, rinse, whatever. We don't need all these fucking buttons. I mean, like, holy shit, man. We don't need a supercomputer to wash our clothes, okay? Especially not with dumbasses like this living in the world. That is mortifying. So, yeah. Oh, there's so much here. There's so much untapped potential in terms of stuff we could watch with her, but I don't want to watch everything because it's just, ooh.
Okay. So should that just be it, you guys? I should just press start and call it a day.
I don't know. Why you asking me?
She was helping me carry, I guess, laundry to the laundry room. I don't remember really what we were arguing about. I want to say this happened, it's been like 6-7 years, so memories are kind of like fading here and there. But I do remember us being on the sidewalk, and I remember her dropping what was in her hands, and she took me by the throat and she started yelling at me. I was like, what? And like, I was like crying. Like, she literally was having me by the throat, just like screaming at me. And then, you know, she let go, obviously. And I think I was so shocked and so.
I mean, I doubt it's much different than in the US, but over here I know how to do a quick wash and a heavy load wash. Other settings I can't bother with, but oh my God, yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like you really only need like there's really only 2 washes that you need realistically for the majority of the things you deal with. Is a basic wash to make things like clean on like a hygienic level, and then like a heavy wash to get actual like dirty shit out of your stuff, right? You don't really need all these other fucking settings, right? It's just like a basic wash to like get your skin flakes out of your clothes, right? And then there's another one where it's like, like if you like cleaned up a mess and like a wash rag and it left a stain, you need to like clean that up, right? But it's, yeah. But just, damn. I can't believe we're talking about laundry in this video. But here we are, in the middle of her abuse story.
So numb to the situation that I kind of just let it be. Honestly, that is the truth. She never really did that again. She would randomly like pinch me if I made her really mad. And I didn't even think anything of that then either. Honestly, I didn't at all. We've been together for about 3 years now at this point, and I feel
It's like a microwave. The only setting needed is the 30 seconds button. Yeah, I mean, you could basically do anything with the 30-second button. Yeah.
myself slowly. I stopped being like sexually attracted to her. I loved her though. I know that. I don't know if it was like a best friend thing, but I stopped just feeling that like connection, I guess. So when it came to intimacy, I want to say about a little bit after like
3.5 years into their relationship, I want to boom bang bang with Cassidy's body. Something about this story is not lining up based on the post she made at the time.
years of being together, it started to dwindle. It was definitely my fault. This is when things got really bad.
So she's not attracted to Casey, but is going online talking about strap-ons and boom bang-a-langing.
Ugh, I don't even know how to share this, but I'm gonna have to. Okay, so Cassidy was very sexually strived. Like, is that even a thing? I don't know. She really thought I was attractive. She really was sexually attracted to me, and she always wanted to like have sex. She told me that the first time she ever met me in person, she did not find me attractive whatsoever. And I stopped feeling that for her.
No, said you wanted to use a strap-on.
Like, I didn't tell her that. I would just like make up things like, oh, I don't feel good, or oh, I'm on my period, like, even though I wasn't. And just little things like that. And it made her pissed. When you say no to someone, whether you've been with them for like a month or whether you've been with them for like 6 years, if you say no to a sexual act, your partner should accept that. That is where I firmly stand.
Wow, what a hot take. I think that's the law.
But she didn't. And she would literally sit there and beg me. At first it was like cute little begs, like, oh, come on, baby, whatever. But then as time gradually went on, it became, you're gonna touch me whether you like it or not. And I was like, you can't force me. And little did I know she can. That's when she started punching me a lot.
Not to crass, but if they'd been together that long, would their periods not have synced? Yeah. I mean, I'm not a woman. I don't fucking know how that works, but based on everything I've heard and what my wife has told me is like apparently women do that, so it's like can't really hide behind that. But I mean, it's also a thing too where just the fact that Amberlynn posted this video and then promptly deleted it might say a lot about how real this story is, right? Because, I mean, there's also the elements of it where, as we see later, she sort of, it's sort of like she's a weird sort of parasitic chameleon in the way that she takes things from her partners, right? And I think it goes over it in this video or it goes over it in the next one, but I believe that she copy and pasted Casey's coming out story as her own. And I think it's one of those things where, now I don't give a shit about that, but it is a thing where you'll notice that she picks up points and pieces from her partners and sort of applies them to her own life. So we end up in sort of a boogie situation where we're not quite sure how much of her life is actually true, besides what we physically see her do. You know, it's sort of up in the air as like, I don't know. Hello, Carlisle. How you doing? We're watching Amberlynn Reed talk about her abuse story that is probably just a reflection of her abusing her own partner. Welcome. It's kind of heavy to start off with, but yeah.
She would aim for my belly. I don't think she ever actually hit me in the face.
Isn't that something you would remember? Getting punched in the face, getting hit in the face.
I don't think she ever actually hit me in the face.
Why did she say, I don't think? You would remember, wouldn't you? I don't think.
Her favorite
Lolcows, yeah, buddy. Yeah, we're getting into lolcows again. This will be ongoing for a little bit because we've got a whole series of videos to watch.
spot was my stomach. She would punch me really hard in my stomach. She'd punch me like around right here a lot. She would punch me on my arms. She would continuously do it until I agreed to make love to her or have sex, whatever you want to consider it. So not only was I being physically abused, but I was pretty much being like, that is what I consider it. It was such like a bad, just like a bad mixture of everything. And this would go on. This would happen probably weekly. Here are the tears.
Where?
I was trying to be strong for this video.
There's plenty to aim for then, yeah.
Would ask, why didn't I hit her back? Why didn't I leave her in that, in that stance? I loved her. At the time, I was confused. I didn't love her.
Oh man, it's just one of those things where like the posts don't. This shit does not match up. Oh man, I love keeping up with the herd, King Cobra, and Wings being boring as of late. So I've been on a DSP binge. Yeah, I've not gotten into some of the other lolcows. Boogie's the main one I know about, but this is the second one that sort of creeped up on me. I was like, wow, I think this story is more boring than Boogie, but at the same time, it's more interesting to watch her fall apart. Because she doesn't really have anything to, like, keep her afloat besides herself. Whereas Boogie has, like, other people that will use him for clicks and views and things on, like, the Lolcow podcast and things like that. But it's a thing where Amberlynn Reed's sort of in her own isolated little bubble where she pushes herself up and pulls herself up. Well, not anymore because of how fat she is. But, she's the person that controls sort of her presence on the internet. No one else really dictates that right now. And she's just really bad at just doing anything. She is so fake. At least Boogie had sanity mixed with his madness. Well, I think the thing is, like, Boogie got in early and could be seen as sympathetic until his story started becoming contradictory, right? I think, at the end of the day, I think Amberlynn Reed is dumber than Boogie is, based on everything I've seen. I think she's dumber than Boogie, right? And I also think that Boogie has just... I think they both have the same sort of problems of, like, the weight gain, the weight stuff, along with the extensive narcissism that's been on for a while. It's just... I think the difference is just sort of how people found out about it and how it sort of came out, right? Like, Boogie stuff just started to slowly make less and less sense over time. Amberlynn's had partners consistently come out and say she's a terrible person. And it's a weird thing where the more Amberlynn tries to damage control the situation, the worse it gets for her. Whereas for Boogie, he's always just sort of been a fuck up. And people just haven't really realized it until he's committed enough fuck ups to be like, oh, there's like a long list of fuck ups you've done. Whereas this is a little bit more like, yeah, I'm reminded of that Star Wars quote, actually, where it's like, I forget the exact wording, but it's Princess Leia talking to Governor Tarkin, saying, the tighter your grasp, the more systems will slip through your fingers, something like that. And it's sort of like that here, where she does so much damage control to get around the shit that people are going to criticize her for, but it ends up creating an atmosphere where everything she does is subject to questioning, and all of her content she posts nowadays is just so fucking boring because nothing happens in it, right? And it's just, it's a thing where just she's such a boring motherfucker. Like, it's sort of the thing where, at the baseline, you can be a lolcow and still be sort of entertaining or interesting, right? But Amberlynn Reed is just a boring person, just in terms of what she likes and how she talks about what she likes. Like her average everyday content when it's just her on her own is boring as fuck. It's just, here's the random bullshit I bought off of Amazon today. Here's the random food I ate today. Here's some random compliment I totally got that is not fake at all. It's just it's a long series of just bullshit. And we'll get more of that as we go through this. The fact that this entertainment is free will never not amaze me. I rationalize it as a group of writers in the sky who plan out the drama like a series. Yeah. That's one thing of like, if you believe in a higher power, that higher power definitely has a sense of humor. I think it's very funny.
Like, as a girlfriend, I just loved her as a person. We had such amazing times that I just felt like maybe one day she'll stop being like this. Maybe one day she'll stop forcing me to have sex with her. One day she'll stop hitting me. Not only was she hitting me because I wouldn't have sex with her, she was hitting me if I wouldn't do the dishes on time. She would push me up against counters. And one thing she never did was she never, called me names. Never. And I was living in that moment of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me type of thing. Where it's okay, hitting people, blah blah blah, but if she started emotionally hurting me, then I should leave.
Now, Amber says Casey never called her names. There was no emotional abuse. However, Amber's clearly forgotten all the posts she's made on Ask FM. How did your partner abuse you in Arizona? She would punch me, slap me, scratch me, strangle me, abuse me with her words. Think of someone you dislike. Now try to think of at least one thing that is good/nice about them. I will not say who this person is because it is just easier that way. You never know who reads your things online. Lol, but I used to live with this person. They would do and say harsh things to me. They practically ruined a few years of my life, making me feel like I was scum of the earth. I would often sit in my tiny bedroom and just do nothing, cry, gain weight, all because of this person. Casey's fault, the weight gain. So there she says, they would do and say harsh things to me. This isn't me catching her out. This is Amber catching herself out.
I remember one time particular.
And that's one thing too, is those posts that we just saw were before this video that she uploaded, as far as I understand. I believe this video came out sometime in 2016 or 17 or so. Right. So this should be after the post that we just saw. So she can't keep her story straight, kind of like Boogie. And it's just, there's just so much. It's sort of fun to watch lolcows fuck themselves over. There's something inherently entertaining about watching an asshole fuck themselves over.
I don't remember what the argument was. Her mom was in her room, a very small apartment, so we were arguing in whispers, so she couldn't hear. But I'm pretty sure she got the gist of it because
this is also one thing too. I'm getting bored just watching her make up this story. But one thing that she did the crying voice, but her eyes are not red at all. She doesn't look puffy faced. No tears. It's just boo hoo 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 hoo. It's all voice. It's you're not winning the Oscar, Amber. You're not winning it.
Cassidy started hitting me really hard. It was probably one of the worst ever. I was kind of just blocking myself, or at least trying to. And Cassidy's.
I also hate her mannerisms. This is another thing. She talks like a California girl in a way, like the stereotype. It's not a big type deal, Everything's got an inflection, like it's a question. I don't think I have more than 2 brain cells. It's that sort of thing that annoys the piss out of me, where it's oh my God, I want you to shut the fuck up. pick a different accent, please?
His mom came in and all she said is, Cassidy, what are you doing? And then walked away.
So now, not only does Amber want us to believe that she did her own laundry, which we know isn't true, but she wants us to believe that Nadine came into the room, saw this brutal beating going on, and said, "What are you doing?" and then just walked out. Maybe it happened like that. Maybe it didn't. Didn't.
The whole time I lived there, I really hoped there was a moment where Cassidy's mom would see. I thought maybe she'd be my hero and like somehow change the way Cassidy treated me. I thought maybe her and I would become closer because she saw I was in an abusive relationship, because me and Cassidy's mom were never close. She didn't do anything about it. Oh yeah, to answer the question of like, why didn't I ever hit her back? Because my brother used to hit me a lot when I was a teenager. He's strong. Like, he might be my little brother, but he's my big brother, you know? And he would hit me a lot. That's just what he did. And he would emotionally f me up in the head. He did a lot. Like, I felt like my own brother hated me for a while there, but that's a whole other subject. But when he first started hitting me, I would hit him back for like self-defense. And it just made him more angry and more mad. And the punches got worse, the bruises got darker. And I didn't want that with Cassidy. I was scared. I was way too scared to hit back.
Man, that voice with the eyes not matching up. It's like, I've heard it said that the eyes are the best indication of a liar, because the eyes are the things that give away if someone's truly emotional or not, because they'll puff up and they'll be red and there'll be tears and things like that. You know, it's, you know, and just the bad liars, you can tell that there's not, like, whenever someone's lying, the eyes are usually the giveaway, you know, because, you know, it's like if you're smiling, you know, if you genuinely smile, your eyes will squint a little bit, you know, and if you're crying, your eyes will have a certain emotion, like certain coloration to them, and like a certain sort of consistency with like if they're like getting wet with tears and stuff like that. But like you've got nothing here besides the voice, and it's sort of like the Boogie 1 HP voice. I've been watching the EFAP. I've been rewatching the EFAP coverage of the fall of Darth Boogie the Wide. It's so much fun to watch those streams, but it's just you got that same thing here where it's like she's doing the voice, but I don't see any fucking tears. Your eyes look pretty normal.
So I never did.
Why does she sound like she's doing my calling in sick to work voice?
I can't come in for me shift. My bruises got darker.
I think what drew the line was...
I love Jimmy Bunker. He's such a great recurring character in this. Oh. Well, the saying is that eyes are windows to the soul. Yeah. Oh, I love them. Watch them a few times. Yeah. I just finished the first part. I need to start watching the second part again. I usually watch it while I'm recording other stuff. It's just... EFAP's fun when they cover lol cows. There's good memes in there. Good memes. Boogie is such a bounty of memes in and of himself, you know. You know, protein in urine, the only joy in life. I'm not used to this level of scrutiny. Tipples. There's so much good shit. Oh, there's so much good shit there. At least Boogie's entertaining to laugh at. Amber's just kind of boring.
Me and Cassidy was her and her mom. This was like one of the worst nights in the world. Like, I can't even. Okay, Cassidy was mad about something. She pushed me up against the counter. She got a knife and was throwing it in my face and saying she was gonna stab me. I was like, yeah, right. Like,
So now Amber wants us to believe that Casey, who's been punching Amber, scratching her, Amber with words, depending on what time of day you ask Amber. Now Casey's got a knife. Got a knife in front of Amber's face. And Amber doesn't seem too bothered. I'd be more concerned if this person who's been abused has a knife. I'd be really concerned.
I would unironically watch Boogie content still if I didn't have such a backlog. Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of the coverage of Boogie, I mean, if you just talk about the EFAP stuff, right? They've got, what, a 6-hour stream, an 8-hour stream, and then however long they covered him during one of the anniversary streams. I haven't watched the anniversary stream, But I know they talk about Boogie for at least like an hour and a half there, maybe longer. So it's like you've got upwards of like 17, 18 hours just from EFAP. Never mind everyone else's coverage, right? So like it's, I mean that's a whole damn movie franchise when you get down to it. I mean, if you look at like the Star Wars, like if you look at the Star Wars movies that are worth watching, 6 movies, if you want to count that. I mean, like 2 hours a piece. It's about the same length as the Boogie thing. There's more memes. Well, more memes. I don't think anything can beat the prequels in terms of pure memeage, but yeah, it's just like wow. Uh, is that not the one Keemstar was on for half an hour? I don't know. I'm not sure. I've not watched Boogie content outside of the EFAP stuff, so I don't. I should say I've only seen the full streams of the of the 2 videos that they made about Boogie that they watched on stream, and the only thing I've seen outside of that was an EFAP highlight where they went over Boogie doing community service. So that's all I know. I don't know if Keemstar ever came on to talk about anything ever. So I don't know. Prequel memes have outlived the hate. Yeah. I mean, I just imagine you underestimate my power, and it's just the prequel memes versus like Obi-Wan, and just there's text over him just saying like the actual hate. I mean, it also helps that, Disney Star Wars has fucked things up so much that it makes the prequels look so much better by comparison. We'll talk about the Star Wars series one day. I actually have plans to talk about the films with a friend of mine who's also into Star Wars. And those should be fun videos. Also, one minor thing to mention now. I do have plans to do a few pre-recorded videos that are going to be like highlight reels for the days that I'm unavailable. I know I mentioned this in the past, but I just wanted to say like I've started working on more of them, and they're going to be sort of highlights of the video game related things. So any weekend where I'm not available, I will probably post one of those. I've already got one for the Shadow of the Erd Tree initial run edited and ready. So that'll come out at some point whenever I don't have room, But those will be fun little I almost said interdimensional. That's not the right word. In between things, in between streams, if we need a break. But yeah. See, we were of the age that we grew up with the prequels, so we don't have the hatred. Well, I mean, I think the prequels are in a weird spot. I think the prequels are in a weird spot. Love the Elden Ring video, by the way. It was definitely worth the wait. Thank you. It came out way faster than I thought it would. I thought it was going to take me forever to edit the stuff together, but I just started recording it one day just for the fuck of it, and then I recorded the whole script, I think, in like a week once it was done. I was like, wow. Nice. But yeah, going back to the prequel thing is, I think one thing people have to remember about the prequels at the same, is consider the environment around the prequels at the same time by comparison to the OT, right? Like the OT started coming out in the 70s, right? Which a lot of people that I've talked to that lived through the 70s kind of agree that the 70s were not a good time to be around, right? There was a lot of there was sort of a depressing cultural attitude, at least in America. But Star Wars was like a big, hopeful thing, and it persisted while also being a great IP in and of itself, right? So that came out as sort of a like bad period of time as sort of a ray of hope, and then continued on into like the early 80s, which was a big shift towards like, people were starting to feel better about stuff, right? Because a lot of people were making a lot of money across a lot of different avenues. Culture was popping, and then the prequels came out. Like the prequels came out in the late 90s after like we had so many problems with different like drug issues, different AIDS related epidemics that had come up in the like STDs coming up in the 90s, like becoming a more realized issue. And then you have 9/11 the year before Attack of the Clones, and then you have the Iraq War going on during that period. So like in terms of just sheer like American perception of the prequels, they came out at a bad time, and the prequels are also a tragedy, right? When you break it down, right? The OT is a story of good overcoming evil. The prequels is a tragedy of good people falling to the dark, falling to evil, right? They came out in a fundamentally different environment, and they were fundamentally different films made by the same guy, right? So there's this weird sort of difference in the way they're sort of perceived, but we'll go over that one day. I don't want to go on a prequels rant for 3 hours, because we could totally do that, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it one day. Just give it time. Give it time. We got to get back to this, because I actually would like to finish this video before we end the stream, and I've got about an hour and some change to go. Let's see if we can finish this.
And then she started really hitting me, like, in my chest.
Oh my god. I keep forgetting that we keep coming back to someone's fake abuse story, that I keep ranting about other shit, but it's like, man, I keep forgetting we keep coming back to this.
And kind of like in my boobs. Cassidy's mom came out and blamed it all on me. And then Cassidy's mom threw this like big clear ashtray right to my head.
Again, it's so strange. This traumatic thing of, well, it sounds traumatic, having an ashtray thrown off your head. That sounds like it would really hurt, but the way Amber's describing it, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like it's a Laurel and Hardy sketch. It's just something comical, the way she, whoop, like what? I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but that doesn't.
Wonder if she tried to get this fiction published. Oh, she wrote a couple of stories, not like books, but like stories on the internet. I watched some videos covering them. They're cringe. They are peak lesbian cringe. Oh man, I don't know where you find them at, but Mr. Snowflake made a couple videos reacting to them. Go to Under the Hood, go to the Mr. Snowflake channel, and then look at the channels related to his. He should link Under the Hood, and then you can look up different stories from Amberlynn Reed. There's lore here. There's lore that's cringe. It's bad.
I'm not getting genuine trauma from any of this.
It hurt so bad, and in that moment I was like, why am I here? What am I doing? The only people who can feel this way and understand what I'm saying is people who have been in an abusive relationship. As much as like your boyfriend or your girlfriend will hit you, you still love them, and it's so unhealthy. And I just want to tell you guys from firsthand that if anyone emotionally hurts you, sexually hurts you, or physically hurts you, don't stand for it. Don't, because it ruins you. And through everything, like, you find it so hard to trust people, and it's so hard to open up, and you have this like guard up that could really just mess up your world, and it's not good.
I've actually seen better acting from Tommy Wiseau. Oh, hi Casey. Is that a knife? But I've seen Amber actually upset.
Am I like my parents? Did I just choose a different outlet, you know? And it's like my brother, he is an addict, but he chose drugs. Her and her mom, this was like one of the worst nights in the world. Like, I can't even. And I didn't want to talk about any of this. Oh my god, my mascara.
It would be incredibly funny if someone used her footage and played the music from Berserk anime over it. Oh, I think that'd be fun. Oh, that'd be a fun edit. Yeah, but one thing that's like about that clip, the comparison that we saw, right? She doesn't normally wear glasses, so I wonder if she knew that she could hide behind the glasses with her eyes at that point or not, because it's very weird. Like, she doesn't normally wear glasses from all the footage I've seen of her, right? Like, she doesn't need them, so I wonder why she wears them like every once in a while. And I wonder if it was just to kind of hide her eyes while she made this video, basically accusing someone of abuse, right? It's very strange. Very strange.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, deserves to be hit by their boyfriend or girlfriend or their wife or husband. Nobody. I have learned a lot.
The romantic one used for the video of the guy saying he sleeps with other guys but isn't gay, that Gary plays all the time. Yeah, that one. I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men. I got news for you. It means you're gay. That's a good like realization sort of background music of like, oh fuck. you know, you know. Oh, that's so good. I need to catch up on FNT. I didn't watch yesterday's FNT. I need to watch it. I actually caught up this week. I watched Open Bar before the end of Thursday, so I caught up. But then I was like, damn, I got other shit to do. Oh, that's a funny one.
A lot being with Cassidy, and if you guys are wondering, yes, she is now a he, and it's been a long time. 6 years since I was.
I love that song. Is so bloody perfect for things. Would suit for stories. Yeah, can you imagine like her like saying this all this crap and like an edited version of all this crap and just the music slowly builds up in the background, you know, until she says something, you know, extreme at the end and then that's it. That'd be funny. And just the slow-mo black and white edit afterwards. That'd be funny.
Was with her, and
see, I didn't catch it either. I got a new girlfriend this week, so I'm behind on all my podcasts. That's usually how it goes. Hope it goes well. Hope you both have a good time doing whatever it is you do.
we talk on Facebook here and there.
What?
I forgot about that. Oh, that last little comment. It's like they've abused me. Oh, I talk on Facebook with him still. It's like, yeah, that's true. I've heard she does that with a lot of her exes, where she like keeps trying to reach out to them every once in a while, and I feel like it's a desperation tactic of like maintaining relevance. You know that everybody that she's ever been with lives rent free in her brain. Replay it. Yeah, we got to replay that. I think it should be right here.
It's been a long time. 6 years since I was with her, and we talk on Facebook here and there.
What?
we still chat now and again.
Yep.
This is a person
Bruh.
who has beaten her, had a knife at her throat, abused Amber with his words, maybe. Raped her, all this horrible stuff, and we still chat now and again. And then Amber has the nerve to upload this video claiming I was raped. We still chat now and again on Facebook. Again, it doesn't sound like the actions of somebody who has gone through this ordeal, these years of abuse.
Things are very different, and she regrets everything she did.
We still chat now and again. It's different. Yeah, it should be different. It's ridiculous. It's insane.
But I'm kind of at that point where I might cry about it now.
You didn't even cry then?
But I've healed, and I'm stronger because of it, and I've learned because of it, and I just figured I'd share this story with you guys because that is a big part of my life that I went through. Me and Cassidy were together for 4 years before I was like, closing the door, I'm done. It does not matter at all that if we were in a relationship or that we're lesbian. She forced me, and a lot of people can question, how is that possible? It's very possible. It made me feel so like degrading and gross and grummy, and I'm done. But I just figured I'd share this with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Yeah, I loved it. It was hilarious.
That like turn at the end of the video too, right? It's just like, love you guys, bye. It's like, okay, if you want to, it's the little things that kind of lead you into thinking things about certain videos and certain people in videos, you know? It's like when they don't treat it the way they should, right? When they don't treat a serious situation like it's serious, and they end it with just a preppy, a peppy little, thank you guys for watching, bye. It's like, you just went over like a rape story. It's like, treat it like you just went over it, right? This isn't a joke, is it? and we find out that, you know, most of this is untrue.
You guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Yeah, I loved it. It was hilarious.
Before I got into doing YouTube, I worked with vulnerable kids and adults, and I've heard quite a few stories similar to what Amber's telling here. And not once have I ever not believed anybody who's told me that type of stuff. Not once. It's never popped into my head that I should not believe this person. You're always left with, I don't know, a lump in your throat or a bit teary. You go home thinking about it. But when I'm listening to this story from Amber, it's so unbelievable the way she's telling it. The things, when she catches herself out, she doesn't let anybody do her laundry. We know that's not true. Casey never abused Amber with his words, but then in earlier posts, apparently Casey did. It's so unbelievable. And you don't want to say anybody's lying about something like this. You just automatically want to go, oh my God, it's true, it's horrible, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
And so the plot begins to thicken.
Casey found out about Amber's video when people began sending the video to Casey's family. Casey would go on to make a video and live streams denying Amber's claims.
Today, I was told by my fiance, someone messaged her on Facebook, and it was a link to a video. It was a video of my ex Amber. My fiance told me that she's calling me an abuser. And that got my blood boiling. Because that's not true. 100% not true. It pissed me off to no end. Everything in that video was such bull that I can't even describe the bullshit that was in that video. So it was probably 4 months after we started living together. We were up one night. I don't remember why we argued. I don't. But she grabbed my arm with her nails. First time. Any physical that was negative. And I remember that clearly. It shocked me.
Now, watching Casey's video, it's very different to Amber's. The use of language is different. Amber is very, I think, and maybe. Memories are fading here.
We see this idea that words and phrases that leave options open are connected to lying, like using the words may or might, or the phrases I think so, or if I remember correctly.
I don't think she ever actually hit me in the face. Memories are kind of like fading here and there. This would happen probably weekly. I think what drew the line with me and Cassidy was...
So the idea here is that the individual is keeping their options open. So if they get caught in a lie, they can pivot and get away from that.
Whereas Casey is...
I'd have taken her to court. Like, honestly, do these people never get the consequences? Most of the time they never do. Yeah, you can tell they're being real with how they're reacting. Yeah, I mean, it's that sort of thing where it's sort of like the whole meme about the internet apology videos, right? How a genuine apology is not going to have background music. It's not going to have the sigh at the beginning of the video. It's not going to have the phrase, I didn't want to make this video. You know, it's not going to have all those stereotypical things that you see in fake apology videos. It's going to be a simple thing of, you know, I'm here to talk about X thing that I did wrong. I'm going to apologize for it. You know, play it as dead serious as possible. Don't add sad music. Don't add like the sigh. Don't add bullshit. Just be honest about what you fucked up. respond to it, right? There's one response, or not response video. There's one sort of, I guess it's a response. I forget if it's a response or an apology video technically, but when Pyrocynical was getting stuff for talking to someone who was like underage, I think it was underage at the time, he made a video going over it where he took ownership of the things that he did do wrong. He did refute some points, but he did own up to that he was talking to someone inappropriately online, but nothing really happened as far as I remember. And this was a couple years ago. I haven't watched Pyrocynical in a couple years, so I'm kind of out of the loop on if this came up again or not. But he was very honest, very direct. There weren't really any jokes in the video from what I remember. It was very serious. And that's how you treat serious subjects, you know, and you also need to be sort of direct about it, you know, and like Mr. Snowflake just showed, right? Amber's video was very topsy-turvy and open to, like she kept so many things vague and open, right? Whereas Casey was very specific in saying, no, that did not happen. You know, she grabbed me by the arm, and I remember that, right? That sort of thing of, you know, and that's not to say that you are going to remember 100% of all the traumatic things in your life, but it is one of those things where, you know, like that other clip said, you know, liars do tend to leave things open in conversation for, you know, X, Y, or Z reason if they get called out later on. You know, now there is an element to it where if you make a mistake in the future, you can correct it, or you can be open to it. You know, like I've made statements before where, you know, I'll say like generally or from my perspective, right? Like, you know, just because you qualify something as it may not 100% be what it is based on what I remember, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are lying, you know, just on the face of it, but it can mean that there is a lack of information in there somewhere, right? Whether on your end, someone else's end, or because you simply don't remember everything, right? So there is a little bit of wiggle room that I am willing to give there, but it's also one of those things where just, you know, liars be lying, and when they lie this much, it's very easy to catch on to the fact that they are lying.
I remember that clearly. There's a big difference.
I didn't know what to make of it, really. I'm 16 years old. I knew what physical abuse was, but not really. I mean, I was a kid. I was a child. So I just assumed, okay, I made her mad. Now, the thing what she said with the laundry, that's a big false. Big false. Want to know how I know that? Because me and my mom would do her laundry. Me and my mom would go do laundry. She wasn't getting up to do laundry. She maybe did it a couple of times, a handful of times, probably counting on my one hand. She didn't do it all the time, at all. And me dropping the bag and choking her, I never, ever did that. Ever. I mean, what's the reason for me to do that? I mean, I didn't do it. And I don't know where this story came from. I didn't do it at all. Now, the places she said about being hit, those were on me. Those were the exact places she hit me. I was the one being abused. And I will say this, I may have laid a hand on her a few times. That was in self-defense. I didn't do it, and I damn well did not rape her. I did not rape her. Period. One time, when my mom and Dave were out, I don't know why we argued, but I was put on the bed. She wailed on me. Beat me real bad. I remember this clear as day.
Memories are kind of like fading here and there.
Our bed was in the living room.
Some good editing.
Next to the bed was a dresser. In front of the dresser was a table. Between the table and the bed was her over me, wailing on me. At that point, I was 17 years old.
Casey claimed that Amber was actually copying the abuse that he suffered, and it wasn't the only thing that Amber would copy.
She told me that she had anxiety.
I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from panic and anxiety disorder. I was diagnosed with anxiety/panic disorder.
After I was diagnosed. So, today I'm gonna tell you guys my coming out story.
This video is about my coming out story.
My mom found out I liked girls because I wrote a love note to Lucy.
I was writing a letter to my friend about her saying how I do like this girl, and I don't know how to tell my mom, I don't know how to tell my parents.
And I left it in my pants, and she went to do laundry, and, well...
The notes, I guess I never ended up giving it to my friend, and I left it in my pants pocket, and my mom did my laundry.
She found it, so...
You can only imagine what happened there.
And I was trying to lie to her at first. I finally said yeah, but I did the safe route. At least I believe it was a safe route, and I came out as bisexual.
I had to explain to her that no, I don't just like women, I am bisexual.
Any advice on coming out to parents? My mom actually found out through a note I wrote to a girl. Coming out to your parents, it's whatever you feel comfortable with, really. It's you gotta trust that they'll understand.
I honestly can't. It's like, that's kind of how I feel. I'm just kind of like, You're just kind of sitting here like, really? You copied someone's coming out story? Really? It's like, you didn't even need to bring it up either. It's like, you're just copying it just because.
Oddly similar to what Amberlynn said about her coming out too. What do you mean? What's similar, Linda? What is the worst thing Amberlynn ever did to you? We got in an argument one night. And I forgot what the argument was about. And it was already dark outside. My mom and her boyfriend weren't home. All I remember was I wouldn't necessarily say thrown, but I fell back on the bed and she just continued to hit. Like, God, I was just trying to at least block my face, but just hit, and slap, and then she slammed the door and took off walking to the store. That was the worst. That was the scariest and worst night ever. Her over me hitting me. I remember that clearly. I couldn't take it. I didn't understand. It just escalated. It escalated so quickly, and I didn't know what was going on. I was 16, 17, 15, 16, 17. Almost 18 years old. She left before I turned 18. I didn't know who would believe me. All I knew was my friends believed me because I would come to school with bruises up and down on my arm, trying to make excuses like, oh, I fell off my bike. Oh, I fell off my skateboard.
My friends asked me, what's wrong? What happened to you? Eventually, they figured it out. So every time I would come to school, upset, in tears, Amber again? Shrug. Didn't say anything. My mom figured it out later on, but I'd have to hide it from her. Why? Because I didn't want her mad. I didn't want her upset. I didn't want her to worry about me. She had so much other things to worry about.
And then I found out about Cassidy would get bruises. And then she would lie to me and say good stuff.
In her video, she said your mom walked in on you beating Amber up. I never beat her up.
No.
And the thing about my mom throwing a glass ashtray at her head? No. She was very disrespectful to my mom. She threw a glass cup at my mom. It shattered on the wall. There was still a hole mark when they moved out because of that.
Can your mom tell us her point of view of the ashtray incident?
Oh, you forget what we were arguing about.
I don't even know what you guys were arguing about.
Maybe something. But she threw it and it ended up being making a big hole in the wall.
Yeah, it would oh, it was a glass one. It shattered on impact too. Yeah, she said you threw it at her.
No.
She would get mad and yell because of how disrespectful she was being, But she never laid a hand on Amber. Ever. Never. My mom's boyfriend and Amber didn't get along. There was a lot of fights. I defended Amber. Does she say that? No. Does she say how I defended her against everything else that was put her way? How I lost friends over defending her ways? No. Why? Because she wants to play victim.
That's it. That's it right there. It's like she just twists whatever experiences she has into benefiting her in some way. Even if it's something as innocuous as a coming out story, just copy and paste it to make her feel better, just to make her look better. She didn't even mix it up. It's like trying to cheat in school and getting caught. Yeah, it's an age-old trick of copy my homework but make it look different. You know, it's like it's not that hard to do.
According to Casey, there was more than just physical abuse.
When you were with Amber, was she emotionally abused? Not just physically, but emotionally? Yes, she was. Yes, she was. The story about that, how I learned that she was that as well, is because I was having anxiety attack. I called her. I stayed home from school that day. I called her. I was like really upset, and she yelled at me over the phone and made it seem like it was my fault. So, and it was a lot. It was a roller coaster of emotions.
One time, when I was getting ready for school, Amber went through my phone. Want to know how I know that? Went to school. My friend CJ sees me, punches me in the arm. What the f*** did you give Amber my number for? What? I didn't give Amber your number. You don't like her. She don't like you. Why should she have your number? Shows me. Bitched my friend out. And I texted Amber. The f*** is wrong with you? What the hell? Why are you messaging CJ? How'd you get her number? I went through your phone while you're getting ready for school. When I would hang out with my best friend Alex. She's been my best friend since high school. And all of a sudden I get text messages an hour later bitching me out for hanging out with her. She went as far as to accuse me of sleeping with my best friend. I couldn't understand why this girl that I cared about at one point was doing this. I couldn't.
And I lost a lot of friends because I guess, I don't know if she did that to more of my friends or not. But me and my friend CJ are still friends. I still have a good amount of friends, but I don't understand the reason why she did that at all. Did she try to take my friends as her own? She tried to make friends with my friends, but they seen how she was faster than I did, so no, she didn't take any of my friends. And then one time, I love to draw. You guys see my drawings? What happened was, I was drawing a collage of Sailor Uranus. Like, let me get a paper. Like it was like as big as this. And we got in an argument. And what she did was, here, I'll use the baby thing as an example. What she did was she got a pencil and she just wrote across it. And she locked herself in the bathroom. She ruined my picture. Like, it took forever to draw that, and she ruined it. I was told I should share this with you guys as my supporters. It was a list I made when I was in therapy. This is all the stuff that I had to deal with. And I'm sorry, getting a little emotional. So here's part of the list.
Now, it is hard to read, but some of the things on that list are: ask to cuddle, do whatever she asks, spoil her, do things she likes, don't bore her with my interests, don't talk much, speak when spoken to, don't spend money on myself, and don't make her repeat herself.
And this was especially the part.
That is just textbook, like, abusive power dynamic where they think they are in charge of your life. That is... that's pretty much the manifesto of, like, every abusive, like, partner on the planet, right? It's just... Whew.
Where I thought it was normal to be hit at one. That was bad.
Here we go, getting into something heavy here. If the rest of it wasn't heavy up to this point.
So somebody asks Amber a question on the website Ask.fm. They say, "My husband hits me but then says sorry, and then again gets and violent because I can't forgive him so fast. He loves me to bits, otherwise what should I do? I hit him back too and called him names only because I was angry." And Amber's response: "People do things and say things that they don't mean when they're angry. I'm not saying it's right because it's not. I constantly say horrible things when I'm angry at someone. I then later regret it. Words hurt worse than fists do, but we all seem to never speak upon that kind of violence. I'm one of them because my honest opinion is never be with someone who abuses you all the time. I'm not saying physical violence is okay, but people do slip. A push, a shove, a scratch, if it happens once or twice, it's something you'll always remember, but it's something that just happened. It doesn't make you an abuser. But if it constantly happens, don't allow yourself to be in that situation. No one deserves it."
Like, this is unreal. Comedian over in the UK gave a good take on abuse, saying you wouldn't go key your car, so why hit your partner wife? Yeah. I mean, it's just that, I mean, my thing on it is sort of it's the mixture of the capacity for violence against someone, or not violence is a bad word for that. Capacity for harm, right? Whether emotional or emotional or physical. The problem ultimately is the person has the capacity to do emotional or physical damage, and they either lack the self-control to stop themselves from doing it, or they don't care, which allows them to do it anyway. And that's sort of the ultimate issue there. And it's a thing where, in sort of Amber's case, it's very obvious that she has no self-control. Look at her weight. Based on everything Casey said, she has no self-control. She also thinks she's in power, right? And it's a thing where, after reading sort of, let me see if I can find Amber's comments again. There we go. Like, this is the thing where, I feel like this is a thing that she tells herself. Like, I think she says this type of text to herself to justify herself as not being an abuser, even though she comes out to do this repeatedly against multiple partners across multiple years and relationships, right? This isn't a once in a blue moon thing of where you get really angry and maybe you snap and you slap you slap your partner, right? Those things can absolutely happen. This is the thing where I would kind of say, I don't think you're an abuser if you crack, right? If you crack under the pressure of something and you slap someone, right? Right? Or like punch someone, that, yeah, you've made a bad decision. But again, I don't think that actually makes you an abuser. I think an abuser is a habitual thing of doing it repeatedly. Amber has been proven to do it repeatedly. And we'll see that once we get to other videos, as she does this repeatedly, and she manipulates people repeatedly, and she lies about things repeatedly. It is a thing where she is a, habitual liar, a habitual abuser, a habitual manipulator, right? Like, this is who she is at the core. This is something that does not change from relationship to relationship. This is her at her core, right? She's never not been this, based on all the stuff we see on the internet, right? And I mean, I keep kind of front loading this just because we're just getting into this now, but this is something that comes up throughout the entirety of this series, and a lot of the videos covering Amber is just it's just when you peel back the layers of how her personality changes based on who she's with. She might be like real up in arms and crass with one relationship. She might be real reserved and sort of like submissive in another. But at the core of her being, she thinks she's not what she is. She's a narcissist, but she thinks she's not. She's not empathetic, but she thinks she is. She's not she's abusive when she doesn't think she is. She's sort of a good textbook case of a habitual abuser with psychological issues where she can't get over her own faults, and she can't even really fix herself. And at this point, it seems like she's going to die that way. Just kind of skipping forward basically a decade from when these posts and things were made. She keeps her relationships off the internet because she knows people are going to criticize her for being an abusive fuck. And she doesn't have anything really meaningful to display of her life, when she's not focusing on drama, right? Her most natural state is when she's dealing with people she hates and makes fun of them and acts snarky to them. Whenever she's talking about things she cares about, quote unquote, it's buying stupid shit off the internet and eating food. That's not a personality type, right? Like, there's nothing really there as a person besides the fact that she enjoys doing this shit to people. And that's a recurring theme throughout this video series and throughout just watching people cover her. Is she's basically a husk of a human being. And it's not, and it's because of her own actions, right? It's not like she was made this way by a relationship she was into. She's done this in her relationships, since 2008, right? Or 9, whenever this relationship started, right? I think it was 2008. But then all the way up to the last sort of relationship we'll cover, which ends in 2022, right? Nearly over a decade, she remained the same. She remained abusive. She remained controlling. She remained dependent on them too for certain things at some point, which we'll also see, right? It's that thing of where her narcissism runs so deep and her ego runs so deep that it causes her to think the entire world needs to change because her fat ass can't stop abusing people. And that's going to be a recurring theme throughout this. And I hope I don't have to repeat myself, but I feel like I will, just because it's the kind of thing that infuriates me about people on the internet, is when they are actively doing bad things, they are called out on it constantly, and they never change. They never change. And it is one thing to, it's one thing to watch a lolcow sort of destroy themselves on the internet, right? It's another thing to watch an abuser continue to abuse, a manipulator to continue to manipulate, and just a vapid person continue to be vapid, right? Like, it's just, it's frustrating to watch stuff because you have all the stuff in the back of your head anytime you watch her do like a vlog about anything, right? And so it's a thing where you sit there and you're going, this person has abused multiple people, lied about it, lied about rape, lied about abuse. This person has done this, and she's still on the internet making money off of this stuff. Because as far as I know, she's not banned off of YouTube, and probably won't be, right? She's grown wiser to the fact that she can't have her relationship on the internet, but that also means that there's no personality on her channel anymore because her personality is boring as fuck. Can we not go back to the good old days and cover Acer again? Oh, man. I don't want to cover Acer because Acer is sort of like brain rot to me. Like, he talks about so much shit that I don't care about. And it's a thing where at least Acer has hobbies. At least Acer has things he gives a shit about that actually have some sort of meaning. It's just, yeah. But by the way, this is the first video of 5. And I think this is the shortest one. So, yeah, we got some stuff to cover.
This I look at now. This was not a relationship. This was slavery. And at one point, I really did think it was normal to be hit. And that was not right.
According to Casey, Amber had been physically and emotionally abusive, and apparently had also been unfaithful as well.
When we were first dating, I got a message from her, upset. She made out with a girl while we were dating, while she was still in California.
The last time I cheated
was about 16, 17 years old. I was in a long distance relationship.
Yeah, your channel got some lore from him at least. Optimal healing. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Whenever we go on these long arcs, we get a little bit of lore. You know, we get a little bit of like a meme. You know. Oh man. I think one thing I would love to do, maybe for the 100th ESAS, maybe, is just create a compilation of all of the sort of jokes that we come across as we do things across the channel. You know, that would be a fun sort of way to celebrate each 100 episodes. Just be sort of like watch a compilation on stream of all the fun shit. That might be fun. I need to keep that in mind. That'd be a good idea for celebration videos. Because I don't really want to do anniversaries for ESAS, just because anniversaries are kind of weird for this. Instead, I'd like to do probably just a celebration of milestones in terms of like episodes. You know, even though 100 won't technically be 100 just because we've had extra episodes in between things. But you know what I mean. I think it'd be fun. But yeah, I don't think I could. Here's one thing. I don't think I could cover Acer again because he brain rots my brain away. Just because I'm sitting here watching him talk about stuff that don't, you know, he seems like he's much more into the lore and game design as opposed to what's actually done when playing the games that he covers, and it's a weird experience watching that as a guy who comes at games from the perspective of how do you play this shit, right, and how do you experience it as the person experiencing the thing, right? It's just I can't go back. I'm not going back, man. You can't make me. Once was definitely enough with him. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is one thing. I don't plan to cover Amberlyn Reed outside of this video series so far. So I think it's a thing where we watch these videos. We have our, well, I say fun in giant quotation marks, but we have our fill, and then we move on to something else. Hopefully by the time we're done with this series, I can maybe play a video game or something again. I want to bounce back and forth between the video games and the... I want to go back and forth between the video games and the reactions because I like both. I'd also like to make a discussion stream as well, or just to discuss things every once in a while, but we'll have to see how that goes. Anyway, let's get back to this.
With, as you guys know, his name is Casey.
Before we met each other in person, when I was, when I was a sophomore here, and she was still in California, and then Amber told me she out twice with one of her friends that was a girl in a hot tub. And so that hurt me.
Where is the wildest place you have had sex? I have a dream though, hot tub dream. We don't need to discuss that hot tub dream though. I actually posted on, what was it, Instagram. Sorry, I'm starting to... I posted on Instagram my yearbook, and it was like my yearbook quotes and like questions, like what do you love? Blah, blah, blah. And at the time I put Amara because that was the name that he gave me for him. And when I filled that out, I was 17 years old. So yeah, I did cheat on him when I was 16.
Did I get mad? I got upset. But
Idea for the 100 videos, tier list of the content cover. Oh, tier list. Okay. All right, one second. Actually, that's a really good idea, Andrew. That's a really good idea. Hold on. Let me make a note of that. I need to make a note of that. All right, let me make a separate tab. I keep like an Excel chart of like all my ideas for shit. All right, this will take me a second, so because I'm really anal about how I make my tables for shit. But that's a really good idea. All right, I need to call this anniversary ideas. Let's see. All right, so let me get this table set up here. All right. All right, I've made a note of it. There we go. That would actually be a lot of fun. Go back to ESAS roots with a tier list. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. I need to I'd be down to do more tier lists in the future. Tier lists are fun. I just don't. They're kind of a short little thing to do though. Like they're not very big unless you have like a substantial tier list of lots of different things to cover. So it's gonna be weird. Anyway, but yeah, that's definitely a great idea, Andrew. We should definitely do that for ESAS 100. Is go back over all the things we've covered and see which things were good, or not good, but which things we would list where. But all right, let's get back to this. I actually do want to finish this video series relatively soon, so I think we might keep going for another like 15 or 20 minutes or so, see how far we get in the video, and then see where we're at by then.
But I was 15. So what am I gonna do? Forgive, forget, you're my girlfriend. I was a child.
When me and him were actually living together, I several times tried to break up with him, and then I would feel guilty and stay.
She felt guilty, so she stayed. I think reading between the lines, she had nowhere else to go. Let's be honest.
So I suggested, okay, let's be in an open relationship then, because I was not happy. I'm not going to get into why I wasn't happy, okay? Because we already know, and yeah, so.
Amber felt comfortable enough with her and abuse to suggest an open relationship.
The open relationship thing, that I will talk about that. Yes, that was true, because I felt like if I allowed it would help us in a way. Again, I was young and dumb. When we're in an open relationship with Amber, or your whole relationship, or was it just after Crystal? It wasn't for our whole relationship. It started with the one I called Paige. I know it's not her name.
Before Crystal, there was another girl. While she was with me. Her name was Paige or something. I know it was a 4-letter name. I'm just going to call her Paige because that's the name I remember. That Paige girl sent her money. Sent her a Walmart gift card. She sent her things. Yeah, while she was with me.
We weren't supposed to be in an open relationship after that. And then she went to with Crystal. Yeah, Amber and Crystal would flirt publicly.
I know a lot of people keep getting that confused and say I cheated. Like, why would I online, like, openly cheat on my partner? That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
The weirdest thing I've ever heard, as we had a picture of her.
And then she met Crystal. Now, she was talking to Crystal about 6 or 7 months before we broke up. No, actually, probably longer than that. Probably almost a year. Talking to her almost a year before me and her broke up.
We actually met online.
This is one of those things where, like, why the fuck do you post this shit? Like, why do so many people... This reaches into a broader spectrum of, like, why the fuck do people air their dirty laundry on the internet all the time? Like, some people just habitually cannot stop posting about their own stupid shit that they're dealing with that nobody else on the internet has to see. It's like, why? Like, why do people feel like why do people think they gain something or benefit from bitching into the void? Like, what do they think they gain out of that? I don't get it. Like, it's one thing to bitch about something like minor in like a stream or something, like a larger project, but like to just randomly post confession number 1, I have a girlfriend, but I'm in love with someone else. It's like, why would you post that? Like, why would you fucking post that? Are you actually a dumbass? Like, I swear, I think a lot of people on the internet are dumbasses and just do that just because they just can't help themselves. It's like they want drama in their own lives, but they don't realize they're creating their own problems.
At the time, I was in a relationship, and Crystal, I added her, I guess, and she sent me a message. She did flirt with me a little. I tried to explain to her I was in a relationship. I'm not like that. I do not cheat. I did not want to cheat on my girlfriend. As time went on, the relationship I was currently in was really just going downhill. She made me realize what true love was because I did fall in love with her. This might sound bad and crazy and weird, but with the permission of the girl I was with, she allowed Crystal to come and meet me.
When Crystal came to visit Amber in Arizona, Amber admitted through an Ask FM post that the two of them had been intimate during that time, even though Amber and Crystal were not supposed to be in an open relationship.
I don't know, we had sparks, and it just, I honestly never felt so happy in my life, and everything just was perfect. And I mean, I felt bad for the girl I was in the relationship with.
This is one of those things, right, where it's like, it's just one of those things where you keep, you keep posting things for attention, and it's very obvious that she posts things for attention, you know? It's like, man, there's so many narcissists on the internet. The internet has been a bad thing for narcissism in general. Watched Tropic Thunder this week, and that thing has went full retarded. Yeah, this thing has gone full retarded. I need to watch Tropic Thunder. I've seen a lot of clips of it, but I need to actually watch it. Like, watch it all the way through. I feel like I'd enjoy it, just because of the meme value.
Crystal was there to witness it physically, the things that Casey put me through. And I wish so badly, I'm sorry, baby. I wish so badly that Crystal wasn't as shy as she was, because she's told me before, I would love to make a video, but I just can't, because she has really bad social anxiety.
She doesn't have to do a video. She could do a community post, a Facebook post. It doesn't have to be a video. We all know she's shy.
Amber keeps saying that Crystal saw firsthand how you treated her. What do you think she was talking about? Oh, I know exactly what she's talking about. It was when we were at the anime convention.
I need to watch it. Yeah, I need to watch it. I've heard it's like one of the last great comedies before like political correctness kind of took over. I really need to watch it. I really do. I think is it on Prime? Is it on Amazon Prime? Because I think I've seen it when we've been scrolling through Prime. If it's on Prime, we might give it a watch. I mean, I'm also down just to buy like a Blu-ray of it, you know, just if it's cheap. Just because, I mean, I want to keep like the physical copies of things. And if it's good, hey, we can keep it and have fun with it.
And I like anime. I love anime. I'm a nerd. But we were at an anime convention, and I was having an anxiety attack. And me and Amber were still together, and I wanted my girlfriend at the time to comfort me, and Crystal got mad at it. Now, I understand why Crystal got mad about that, because Amber wanted to, you know, spend time with her, and she came down for Amber, blah, blah, blah. But that's what it was. So whatever she told Crystal, she told Crystal.
Crystal bought her so many things when we were together. So many things.
Crystal would even pay Amber's phone bill, something Amber had complained about previous when Amber's
Iron Man in blackface. I know it's on Paramount. Yeah, I don't have Paramount though. I haven't laughed at anything recently, made even 1% as much as I did rewatching Tropic Thunder. Yeah, I mean, I've seen plenty of clips of it that just like look hilarious, you know. And also, just Robert Downey Jr. in blackface is pretty hilarious, just as a concept in general, right? I need to watch it. Oh, I need to watch it.
foster mother paid the bill late.
The one that stands out, because it's the most messed up one, was the freaking iPod Touch. She was on the phone with her. There was an argument starting. So she goes outside talking to her. Comes in. Oh, I made her cry. What happened? What made her cry? What the hell? Crystal was gonna buy her an iPod Touch. The argument was over how much gigabytes it had. And she got mad because Crystal asked, do you want this certain gigabyte or the 32 one? You know, the highest one. And she told Crystal, asking me that is like asking if you want a pink purse. She was so rude about that. It wasn't just, she went off after saying the pink purse thing. She went off on this poor girl. And made her cry. It was over $200. Over $200 this girl is spending on Amber.
Robert Downey Jr. saying, "What do you mean, people?" to someone, only for the real black guy to say to him, "What do you mean, you people?" Yeah, oh, man. Oh, I need to watch it. I need to watch it. I love how we're getting distracted by this by other shits. Talking about prequel trilogy and then Tropic Thunder. Oh, man.
It's not even with her yet. You should just be grateful for what you're getting. Why are you being like this?
6 months after Crystal visited Amber, Amber made a Facebook post claiming she was now officially in an open relationship. 2 days after posting about her new relationship status, Amber and Casey would break up, and Amber would be headed to Virginia to be with Crystal. This further backs up Casey's claim that their open relationship had ended after Amber's fling with Paige. Now, Amber likes to claim that the last time she cheated on anybody was when she was 16 years old. However, according to Amber's own Facebook posts,
real stories catch your attention, locals are utter fools. That is a good way to put it. And this is one thing, by the end of this stream, let me know if you want to keep watching these or just give up on them, because I've already seen them, and if you'd rather we do something else, I'm open to that. Because it seems like we're getting distracted by other stuff anyway.
she cheated on Casey with Crystal when she was in her 20s. So, Casey and Amber enter an online relationship. Amber cheats on Casey with a girl in a hot tub before they meet. Casey and Amber begin an in-person relationship. Then Amber cheats on Casey with this Paige girl. Amber and Casey then enter a brief open relationship, and the open relationship ends after Paige and Amber break up. Amber then meets Crystal online. Amber and Crystal flirt publicly on Facebook, despite what Amber says. Crystal comes to Arizona to meet Amber. Amber admits her and Crystal were intimate. Then Amber and Casey enter another very brief open relationship, and 2 days later Amber and Casey break up, and Amber heads to Arizona to be with Crystal.
I just had to
What a wild timeline. The reactions are pretty funny. Reckon this is like the prequel to the real drama that will kick off. Yeah, this drama sort of escalates, right? Like, this drama is sort of like Lord of the Rings, where it just gets bigger and grander as it goes on. So by the time we get to the last video, which is 4 hours long, that might be the worst video in terms of what we see Amber do. So it definitely escalates as it goes on. It definitely escalates, which is part of the reason I wanted to cover this, is because it gets so crazy by the end of it that it's kind of darkly comical in a way, but it's also incredibly sort of sad for the people involved. But at the same time, I kind of don't want things to get too real on this channel, right? Like I like to react to things, but I also don't want it to be a thing where we watch depressing shit all the time. That's part of the reason why Swabby didn't show up for more than a couple episodes, because we watched a bunch of depressing shit in front of him. And just stuff that made him mad. He doesn't want to get on a stream and be mad for 2 hours. I'm more in line with, like, I can deal with it as long as it's not too ridiculously infuriating. This feels like The Hobbit, and we'll get to Lord of the Rings tier levels. I mean, these things are about as fucking long as the movies by the time we get to it. Yeah, because I mean, this whole series is. Let me check something. See, this whole series is like. See, this video is about 1 hour and 40 minutes. The next video is about 1 hour and 50 minutes. The video after that is about 2 hours. The video after that is 3 hours. And the video after that, the final video, is about 4 hours and 20 minutes. This is a very long thing. This is going to be a very long thing. But we'll see how we do. I think I am going to keep watching, but I am going to have to stop sometime soon. So we'll find a good stopping point, and then we'll see how it does.
clarify that I'm not a cheater, and like, I'm 32 years old and I haven't cheated since I was 16.
That's a lie.
After 4 years of dating, their terrible relationship would finally come to an end.
I was a senior in high school. We had the homecoming party, whatever. I was a part of the anime club and the LGBT club, so I was doing things for both of us. I ended up...
Right, this is one thing, right? I have to, like... I'm sorry, but as someone who is not gay, right, or a part of any of that spectrum of different stuff beyond heterosexual, right? What the fuck do you do in a club like that? Like, no hate to Casey or anybody that's like not straight, but like, what the fuck do you actually do in an LGBT club? Like, I'd ask the same question in a straight club. Like, what the fuck do you do in a straight club? Do you just talk about being straight? Like, what do you fucking do? Like an anime club, I can understand. It's like you talk about the art, like you can talk about the art form, you can talk about different anime you like, you can talk about storytelling, you can talk about, you know, artistic renditions of things, you know, you can talk about adaptations from manga to anime. Like there's stuff there, right? Like it's a cultural thing. What the fuck do you do in an LGBTQ club? Like what do you do? Just sit there going, I'm gay. All right, next. I'm bi. All right, next. I'm a they them. All right. Next, I'm bi pan fursexual. It's like, okay, like what do you fucking do week after week? Like I don't get this. I don't get what you do there. Like what do you fucking do? Do you just walk around with a badge that just says, yeah, by the way, I'm not straight? They try to take down the patriarchy. Well, good fucking luck. I just that's one thing I've never understood about all these like LGBT groups where they form, and it seems all they do is just be what they are already. You know, like this is one thing. If they can have their LGBT group, does that mean that we can also have our straight group? Like our just S group, right? Like because if they can discriminate and have a club for that stuff, can we discriminate and have a club for just straight people? Is that how it works? Because we have to be even-handed about this, you know. You know, I would love to like have like an LGBT club, like imagine like a TV show set in like a modern sort of high school, and then you get the LGBT club puts up like a poster, like the main character for that side is like puts up a poster, and then you see this other poster by this other person who is just the straight club, and it's just the same stuff but for straight people, and then the whole concept of the story is just the two of them like taking the piss out of each other. That could be fun. It would never happen though because it would require criticisms of LGBT people. But you know, nope, straight white man wear white hooded robes. I'd love to see a like a parody of sort of like we always do the alternate history stuff. Like imagine alternate history where instead of black people being instead of Europeans being sort of the people that spread out the most throughout the world and like colonized places, what if it was the opposite way around where it was black people that colonized everywhere and then white people had been slaves in different countries and things like that, which I know that, you know, not all slaves were black or white. I know that's a different thing, but like I think it would just be a funny like, can you imagine inverse KKK where it's black people in black hoods chasing around white people in the woods, like in the South? I think that'd be hilarious to see like an inverse of it. It'd be like a I forget what time period that sort of stuff was going on in the U.S., but it was like it'd be like Tropic Thunder, but for that, where it's just sort of a parody of its own sort of concept. Like it's like a self parody. I think that'd be kind of funny to watch. But yeah. All right. Okay. Let's try to get to another stopping point, and then we'll stop because I do have to go soon.
Staying late because there was a dance afterwards, but I didn't want to go to the dance. But I ended up staying late, and I came home. We got in a huge argument about me being out late. That's what led us breaking up. Was that fact? And she broke up with me that night. Went with Crystal next day. That was it.
That's not why she broke up with Casey. It's because she had in the wings, Crystal.
I don't know if Crystal had to buy you 2 plane tickets. All I know is we broke up. The next day, she gets in a cab to the airport. She's with Crystal.
I love this comment. My big smelly hamburger is a 500-pound yeast roll. With that profile picture, it just works. It's just, I love the internet, man.
Crystal. She moved in with Crystal.
Now, a week after the breakup, Amber posts to Facebook saying how losing Casey is like losing a best friend. And that doesn't sound like... It's a totally different version, isn't it, from the video she's made here. It sounds like she's just escaped with her life, this horribly abusive relationship for 4 years. She's escaped with her life, she just get out of it. And then a week later, I'm losing my best friend. So there's reasons why I doubt this story. And that's a big one. They may have broken up, but this would not be the last time the pair would speak.
All right, that's probably a good stopping point, actually. I'm going to stop this here and make a note of it. If we do end up coming back to this. It seems like we got distracted by a lot more entertaining things than this, so... We'll have to see how things pan out as they sort of go. All right, let me make a note here. All right, 1:05:31. There we go. I've made a note. Alrighty. Alright, that was a thing. Should at least finish this. It's better watching with someone else, I think. Yeah, I think if you sit and watch it on your own, I think you'll just get annoyed and frustrated. But, one thing we could do is we could finish this one video. Maybe finish it tomorrow. Depending on what I got. But we could finish this video and then just let you guys watch the rest of it on your own if you care, because this is sort of like dipping your toe into the mess, and it gets way worse as it goes on. Because, again, I don't want to sit here and just be reacting to sad shit for just hours on end, because it would totally happen, because it does get like worse, like way worse. And it gets worse in different dimensions as well. But, yeah. I'll need to rewatch the start since I missed it for context. Yeah, well, as soon as the stream's done, I'll, you can either rewatch you can rewatch the re-upload. It should be up pretty quick just because the stream isn't that long, so. Because I am probably going to start doing a thing where I immediately take the streams down and then put the re-uploads where they need to be. But the re-upload goes up in like an hour, so it should be fine, but... yeah. So, yeah, anyway, that's the end of this. So I do plan to continue covering this, at least to finish the first video. Do we want to continue down this road? Because that's the main thing, because I got plenty of other things I could stream. It's just a matter of, do we actually want to watch all this in real time? Not in real time, but you know what I mean. You know, because there are different things I would love to do, but I would like to react to some videos before getting back into more video game related stuff. It's just one of those things where I got to sit here and wonder how we should handle this. But, I think for now I am going to have to go, though. So, re-upload will be up very soon. Very soon. I'm trying to think. Let me know, Andrew, either in the chat or in the Discord, depending on where we are. Okay, so just play it by ear and see how it feels, I reckon. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like talking about it, but at the same time, the videos will only get longer as they go. So it's going to be a thing where just, you know, reliving through this might be an ordeal. So I guess we will just play it by ear and see how far we get. But for now, I'm going to have to end the stream here. So we'll see how things pan out in the future. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream tomorrow or not. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. So we'll see how things go. But for now, I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and God bless.